है नॉनी एक बार देखिए कैसे इसमें शेयर ये बंद कर दे हेलो 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 Can everybody hear my voice? Sorry, there was some confusion. I thought that's still on the mute. So, welcome all. Good afternoon. My name is Anuj, and today we will talk about the CPA course. Why anybody would want to pursue this CPA course? What are the benefits of doing it? What are the advantages of doing it? And what are the opportunities if you become a CPA? So let's give another 1 minute for other participants to join, and then we can start today's session. Thank you. Okay, in the interest of time, let's begin with the session. Good afternoon, all. Let me introduce myself. My name is Anuj, and I have been associated with financial industries for almost like more than 14 years now, into different domain, financial reporting, regulatory reporting, risk, RW calculation, treasury, to name few regulatory change, currently in Basel IV implementation for one of the investment banks. By qualification, I'm a CPA, FRM, MBA Finance, and yes, so that's about me. And yeah, so today we will talk about the US CPA and what are the advantages of doing it. And yeah, so maybe I will cover like 2 or 3 slides, and then I will go into the questions if you have. So if you have any questions, we'll try to resolve those questions. And just feel free to like type in your questions. So after maybe every 3 or 4 slides, we can go through the questions together. So let's start. How to become a US CPA. I hope everybody can see the screen as well. Okay, just say yes. Can you? Are you able to see the screen? Yes, okay, good. Okay, then hiring trends. So company frequently offers salaries above market rates even before negotiation with candidate begins. A good accountant is hard to find now more than ever. Competition to recruit and retain top performers in the finance and accounting field has long been fierce, but the tightening pool of skilled candidates can make even more so. So, like, what we're talking about is a skilled accountant, because the way it's not just the same accounting which was earlier, like the historical accounting. Whatever has been done, you just put it in the P&L and balance sheet and give it to the investors to have that fair view of the accounts, or to the auditors. It has like, it is now much more. It's prospective as well. Introduction of IFRS 9, introduction of many other accounting standards. If you see, they are converging into forecasting numbers as well. They want prospects, what would be the prospect of the company. Even the disclosures wants some kind of a forecasting to be done for the numbers as well. Especially IFRS 9, it is merging accounting world with risk world. Whatever the risk world was using to account for the risk in the coming future, you have to account those as well in IFRS 9. So now things are changing. Accountants have to be more technology savvy. They should know about the risk as well. They should know about the environment as well. The work of an accountant is just not to put in or like put in the numbers in the balance sheet and P&L. It's much more than that. Analysis is required. You should have the macro environment, what is happening in the macro environment. That's the role of an accountant right now. So getting that skilled accountant right now is always a challenge for a company. And if you have that kind of a competency, then nothing like that. So even getting like a 20 or 30% premium than the other accountants uh, is quite relevant when you go for the recruitment. So coming to the supply and demand, the supply and demand for US CPA. US CPA is the only license for public accounting in the US. Shortage in skilled accountants, acquisition and retention, employment for accountants and auditors is expected to grow by 10%, especially for the CPAs with college degrees. ACPA estimates that approximately 75% of its members will be eligible to retire by 2020. Changes in technology, accounting standards, and regulatory environment. So, as in India, we have CAs who have the authority to do the public audits. Similarly, it's a CPA, it's equivalent to CA, you can say, in US. So, those are the people, the US CPAs have the license to do public accountant, and no other body is authorized to do or sign the public accounts. So that is we know about it. And apart from that, like they would that's the estimate what they have see that there are a lot of accountants which would retire, especially from the jobs. So there would be a requirement for skilled accountants in the US market and elsewhere across the globe as well. And yep, and already like I told you, the changes in technology, accounting standards, and regulatory environment uh, enhance the demand for efficient accountant. I tell you, like I've been into regulatory reporting. That domain is increasing a lot. The regulators are demanding for reports every second year. I see a lot of reports being added from regulators, from different regulators. So if a big bank is working in different jurisdiction, if I talk about any bank, maybe let's take an example of an HSBC. It's headquartered in London, so it has group regulators or PRA. It has branches in India as well. So here the regulator is RBI, then RBI and SEBI maybe in few cases, and then maybe in Germany also they have the presence. Then there's a Bundesbank. So every regulator has its own demand. It has to cater to the every regulator. So every regulator wants the some kind of reports to be generated, and who would generate those reports? Who would prepare those reports? They need skilled accountants for it. So regulatory reporting also starts with financial reporting. They take the financial numbers and then they do the modification as per the regulatory requirements, and then they present it to the regulators. And it is a skill requirement. That's what I would say, because it directly goes to regulators. And also financial accounts are audited, but you don't have a scope for regulatory for somebody to audit those reports. So those goes unless you have an internal control team or internal auditors, but it's not mandate for external auditors to do that regulatory check. So they need CPAs, they need chartered accountants, they need skilled accountants to do this work, and it's ever increasing, especially after the 2000. I could be wrong, 2001 crisis which happened. Okay, let's go ahead. Benefits and opportunities. Uh, Global recognitions and diverse opportunities. Employers looking for US CPAs, MNCs, multinational accounting firms, foreign corporations. Relatively short time to complete, reciprocatory with other accounting professional bodies. So, why do you do a CPA? Okay. So if you have if you have any questions, you can just type in. Okay. So then, why do you want to do a US CPA? First, like the one of the major advantages which I saw in US CPA, I did it almost like 4 years back, 3 to 4 years back. And what I saw was the major advantage was relatively short time to complete it. Most of the candidates, including me, we completed it in 1 year. So ideally, if you prepare well, if you strategize it well, it will be completed in 1 year, and you're ready for the market. That's one of the biggest advantages. And the other biggest advantage I see in CPA is the kind of flexibility the CPA, the CPA authority provides you, AICPA. That kind of a flexibility, maybe there would be few other international accounting bodies which can provide you, but not here in India, to be very frank. Because the kind of flexibility they provide is when you are prepared for the examination, then you go and sit for the examination. It's not a predetermined date that you have to go and give the examination a predetermined date. When you think you are prepared, you schedule the examination and go for the papers. Apart from that, there are like only 4 papers, and and you can also strategize your papers as well. It's not that generally in the Indian accounting world, if you're doing CA or a CMA, then maybe a one day gap. That's what would be maximum. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but here it's not the case. Maybe you need a revision for 10 days. You strategize your paper like you give one paper at a time, and then you give a 15 days gap, and then give the second paper. So the kind of flexibility which is given, that's the reason the passing percentage is almost like more than 50% for this examination. It's not the case that's very easy. It's not the case you don't have to study to pass the examination. However, the flexibility and 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 because you don't have to mug up a lot, because the way the examination is structured, that's the reason I believe the passing percentage is also high as compared to any other accounting bodies across the world. And as you know, US, you believe it, you have to accept it or not. It's one of the biggest economy, and in fact, the biggest economy in the world. The education, sorry, the education. If you get the education from US, it's almost recognized across the globe. And if you see the reciprocatory agreement, all the developed countries have some kind of a reciprocatory agreement with the CPA US, be it CPA Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Scotland, Hong Kong. So if you are a CPA US, then either you don't have to give the examination, or maybe you just have to give 1 or 2 examination to get the license for the other country. And that's I believe that's because of the kind of economy US is. I don't understand English. However, like most of the attendants, participants would understand English as well. So maybe uh, that's what I cannot help on this, because we have a session only for 1 hour, and I have to speak in English so that the maximum participant can understand. Hi, what is the cost by when we can clear CPA? Let's go to the questions. Okay, can we answer CPA in India? If we start from scratch now, can we answer CPA? Okay, it's objective questions. Opportunity for a student doing CA, taking up CPA as add an additional degree and exposures and benefit from the same. Okay, what is the cost? Cost differs because examination fees differs. However, you need to see that. Maybe just go to the ACPA site and see the examination fees. Somewhere around, like I believe, including registration fees and everything, it would cost you $1,200. This is apart from your coaching fees and other stuff. So I think $250 is per examination, and there's a $200-300 of registration fees, because that's not a constant. You need to see the ACPS site, but believe me, somewhere around $1,200 would be required to give just the examination, apart from your enrollment to any coaching institute and books and other things. Can we answer CPA in India? Recently, because of this COVID environment, they have started a few prometric centers in India where you can give the examination. This was valid till I think December. You need to see the site whether they're extending it or not. But yes, you can give it right now. Earlier, it wasn't the case. Earlier, max you have to go to US to give the examination. Then, when I passed the examination, Dubai came as one of the options where you can go and give the examination in Dubai. Now, due to this COVID environment, because travel has been restricted, they have temporarily decided that maybe students who enroll from India can give the examination from district centers in India. But please visit the site for more information. Is it objective questions? Yes, most of the questions are objective. It's a computer-based examination. You don't have to write. You don't need any pen and paper for it. You go and most of the questions are objective, except for a few examination for especially in BEC where you have to write you have to write. You have to write, and that's not through paper and pencil. Over the computer, you have to write a few of these sentences and paragraphs. Opportunities for doing CA, taking up CPA. Okay, so if you're already doing a CA, then getting enrolled in CPA, then you have to see how can you manage that, because even though it's the accounting degrees, both of them. However, taxation and other things could be quite different, and even structure could be quite different. So if you think you can manage it, go ahead. And what would be the benefits if you get CPA? Global recognition. That's what I would say. The one of the biggest advantage of doing CPA is global recognition. Be it any MNC, go it, and if you even go around the world, you would be recognized more than when you are when you are the chartered accountant. That's the reality, and we have to accept it. If you go to any advanced country, be it Australia, be it UK or any other country, if you get that opportunity, and if you're a chartered accountant and if you're a CPA US, then the kind of scenario right now, the MNC, US MNCs around the globe, I would not be surprised CPA US would have upper hand there. The global recognition is one thing that is for sure you CPA US will give you. Okay, is there any paper exemption for CA or for CPA USA? Please explain. Okay, why not Canada? Please explain why CPA and why not Canada or Australia? Okay, there's no exemption for chartered accountants to do CPA USA. There's no reciprocatory agreement with the Chartered Accountants Institute of India. Okay, then why not Canada or Australia? See, give the examination, which is if you become a US CPA, until unless you have your plans, you have your PR ready for Canada or Australia, then you go ahead and do the CPA Canada or Australia. I would suggest that. However, if you don't have such plans, then do such a course which is widely accepted. Canada and Australia are developed economies, but they don't have a presence like US. You see, Canada and Australia combined still are their GDP is quite below compared to US. It's a very big economy. Their companies, be it Amazon, be it like Apple, be it anything, or even the banks, the kind of reach the banks have, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, just to make Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. These all are US based giants, so and have presence across the globe. So until unless you have some kind of PR or some kind of red carpet there in Canada or Australia, I would want people to do US CPA because in present scenario, US is the biggest economy. Their companies are dominant across the globe. That would give you a better strategic advantage. And also US CPA has reciprocatory agreement with Canada and Australia also. So if you become a US CPA, you don't have to give a lot of examination if you get a red carpet. Maybe in future, go ahead and give few examination, become CPA Australia as well. And in some cases, because reciprocatory agreement do change year by year, in some cases, you don't have to give examinations as well. You just go ahead, give the fees, and you get that reciprocatory. Uh, Sorry, you will get that reciprocatory. You get the license for that other country. Okay, let's go ahead. Maybe I will go for other questions after 4 or 5 slides. Okay, let's go ahead. Maybe I answered. I was able to answer it. Okay, then we already talked about if you become a US CPA, then there are reciprocatory agreement available with New Zealand, Hong Kong, Australia. Okay, that's obvious. Let's take a look on the salary expectation. So on an average, if you are in US, then it's 116K plus bonus for a average CPA with a 5 or 7 or 8 years of experience. If you are starting your career, you can think about somewhere around 66K. And if you are a very experienced accountant, then almost around 150K. So, and in India, you can, on an average, you can think about 8.5 lakhs. So it's similar. Like if you're a chartered accountant, then you can expect like if you're a fresher somewhere around like 4 to 5 lakhs, and if you're experienced 1 or 2 or 3 years of experience, you can expect 8.5 lakhs. So similarly for CPA degree as well. Let's look in the example they have taken from these recruitment sites. So American Express was hiring and they were looking for somebody for US GAAP, preferably a CPA or a CA. Then if you see the Amazon, that's the biggest, that's giant from US. CPAs were preferred for one of the openings in senior tax analyst position. Then BNB Paribas, this is also this is a European bank, and they're still preferring CPA and CFA. Both are US based education. Okay, so experience in US GAAP, experience in SOX. SOX is something like a Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which also came in existence from US after the after those accounting scandals. This is more like controls. CCAR is like a stress testing in US. Liquidity reporting is one of the regulatory reportings. So see, like kind of exposure accountant have. Like, it's not just limited to financial accounts, preparing P&L and balance sheet. So if you have that kind of right aptitude, you go into internal controls, you go into control testing, you go into stress testing. But that requires like a competency. You have to show that competency, and then liquidity reporting, capital reporting. There are a lot of like regulatory reporting as well. Then into RWA world, lot of opportunities, but it's not just getting a degree which will land you to those opportunities. You have to show that aptitude, you have to show that learning mindset when you go for an interview. The CPA or the chartered accountants take you to the footsteps of the MNCs. However, then you have to show that caliber, you have to show that you are willing to learn new things in the world. Just getting a tag of CA and CPA, if you think that will cater you to the lifelong, gone are the days you become a CA and every long life you say I'm a CA, I don't have to learn it. Then that's a wrong attitude, be it CA, CPA, or any accounting qualification. The way the world is changing, you have to keep your pace with that. You have to learn new things. Then only you will be in demand. Otherwise, you will be just like any other accountant who is just doing the same work across the whole life and earning maybe an average salary. If you want an above average salary, go for learning. Learning shouldn't stop. My personal recommendation is even after doing CPA or CA, go for the at least keep like 10% of your CTC for education purpose. Go for new technologies. No, go for new certifications which are valid to your own career. It shouldn't be any certification that's not required. Let's go ahead. Then McDermott, senior auditor at the Dubai. I have seen a lot of people. Dubai has because there are a lot of chartered accountants also go to Dubai. That's for Indian chartered accountants. Apart from Indian subcontinent, Middle East is also very ready and capture that talent. I have seen a lot of chartered accountants going at a big position in Bahrain or maybe in Dubai or maybe in Middle East countries into banks into good positions. But recently, I've seen a lot of CPAs as well. One of my CPA friend got into a project in Dubai and earning had some salary. And in fact, his project has also been extended. So again, he will get an opportunity to earn a very good salary there. Prior experience with SOX, so I already told you. Strong academic record, including degree and professional qualification as ACCA, CPA. So Ernst& Young, Deloitte, okay, these big fours, KPMG, and PwC. Okay, so these are big fours. They vouch for accountants, good accountants. So if you're a CPA, there are like India has become a financial hub. The way the way maybe China is for manufacturing industry. It's not at that scale, but still we can consider ourselves as an emerging financial services background for all the biggest MNCs. I have seen a lot of GFS created by MNCs here. So that's a global financial centers, GFC or GFS, whatever you say. where like the accounting or the financial work is done in a centralized location in India, and maybe HSBC has a global presence, but like 60 or 70% of the accounting for all the regions is done here in India. So maybe in future you see this. So if these big and also even for the big fours, some kind of a partnership model for US and the European counterparts is developed here in centers in India. So if you become CPA or a qualified CPA, you have those opportunities to grab. Here in Singapore also, somebody looking for US gap. Okay, let's take a few more questions and then maybe we can go ahead. What training can you? So I didn't get that answer. Oh, sorry, question. What is better, US CPA or ACCA? I would not comment on what is better, US CPA or ACCA. ACCA also has a global presence. Only thing is, that's what I believe is US CPA is a licensed. You get a license to work and audit public accounts. I believe that's not the case with ACCA. However, both have global presence. So uh, I'm not here to comment like which is better or which is not. You do your own research and then take a decision. I am a CA inter studio student and have completed graduation. So, will I be able to grasp the concepts of US foreign taxation? Absolutely. See, I have seen my personal experience as nobody should take it in mind. This is what happened in reality, and I'm just here to share that experience. I have seen chartered accountants flunking in the examination. There were like most of the chartered accountants do clear it very easily, but if you take this course as granted, then even chartered accountants like vintage chartered accountants, maybe like they were qualified chartered accountants for like 5 years or 6 years. Maybe they didn't took it so seriously, seeing its objective and other things. Maybe that's my assumption, but they weren't able to clear those examinations. I have seen simple graduates uh, clearing the examination in one go. So it's all about how you strategize, how seriously you take this examination. So my point here is you have to do your regular studies. You cannot take these examinations for studies, even if you are a qualified accountant. If you take this, strategize it, do the studies regularly, plan the examination appropriately, then you have a very good chances. Probability is quite high to clear this examination in one go, even if you don't have that kind of an accounting background. I have seen, I have in my reality, in my personal experience, I've seen a girl clearing it. She was a simple graduate, chartered accountants flunking, even though they were qualified. And what I can analyze, it was just the reason how seriously they took this examination. So if you want to go for CPA, you have to be serious with your studies. My personal recommendation, if you think it's a cakewalk, then don't enroll for the examination straight away. Don't waste your money, time when you are not serious to get this qualification. Even though it looks simple, objective, but scientifically it has been proven, even if it's subjective, if you don't study, you will not be able to pass this examination. And also you have to accept this fact, this is the highest accounting qualification in US. So you will not get this certification or degree without studying. You have to accept it. And in a way, it's the highest accounting qualification in the world, maybe you can say that. So you have to be serious, then only enroll for examination, otherwise don't enroll for it. But it doesn't matter if you're a chartered accountant or if you're a just a graduate. What are the job opportunities for having CPA certification? Job opportunities we are already went through few slides. You go to LinkedIn, you search for job opportunities in CPA. That's the best way to do it. Okay. What is the difference between giving exam in India and USA? Okay. If you go with the examination in India, okay. Earlier, it was, you need to go to the site and see. But there are some like if you give the examination outside India, then you have to get the license in like 2 or 3 years. That's what I came to know. But if you give from US, you don't have to get the license in a predetermined time. You can enroll for the license at any time. So do that research. But 2 or 3 years is more than enough to get the license. So get the guidance and get it. But if you think that maybe you are just a fresher, you would require more than 2 or 3 years, or maybe you want that flexibility anywhere, any time you can go for license, then you go and give the examination in US. I gave in US, and believe me, a license is not required until unless you go into public domain or you become a partner in one of the big fours. That's what that will take a long time. Uh, yeah. So otherwise, if you just clear the examination, you are ready for it. You can just write you are a CPA certified, and you have passed the examination. You have passed the all four section of the examination basically. So I think for getting into jobs, that's more than sufficient. You don't require any kind of licensure. Let's go ahead with a few more slides. We are already tax professionals authorized by IRS. So tax preparation career, you already know CPA or generally would go into tax, accounting, okay, management accounting, or maybe audits. So these are the three specialized area: accounting, tax, and audit, where a CPA would go. So if you are a CPA, then you are authorized to represent your client in matters of auditing and appeals. So only attorneys, which are like lawyers, enroll agents, and CPAs can represent your case. Okay, go ahead. Then how? Okay, obtaining US CPA license. US CPA license granted by US State Board of Accountancy. Candidates need to fulfill three E's. Each state may have different exam eligibility. All states recognize same exam. Licensure requirements for each state can also differ. They are mainly pertaining to experience and okay, so obtaining USL license, you need first of all you need to clear the examination. Then you should have a relevant experience, and it's not centralized the way licensing is done here in India. That it's given by a centralized authority, that is ICAI. In US, each board grants you. There are like 50, more than 50 boards, and each board will grant you. Only board has the authority to give you license. So California would have different, Washington would have different requirements, but overall, the requirements are almost the same. It would be different, like maybe few states want US residency, so you would not be eligible to apply it. But there are a lot of states which do not want US resident as one of the requirements, so you have to go for those states, okay, for the examination or enroll for those states. And then there could be few just don't just require 1 year experience. If you require 2 years experience, there could be a little bit tweaks. However, the essence is same for all the boards to give you the license. And just as I talked about flexibility, here also a lot of flexibility is there. If you enroll for a board in Alaska, if you think maybe maybe Alaska, just taking a hypothetical example, Alaska is right there in Canada, okay, right above Canada. There's a state as Alaska, okay, it's quite far away from the mainland US, but still it's one of the jurisdiction of US, one of the states in US. So if you enroll from Alaska, if you think Alaska is better suited for your needs, because maybe you don't need 150 credit hours to sit for examination as relaxations. So you initially thought that maybe I enroll for Alaska, so you don't have to go to Alaska to give the examination. Your relatives are staying in Washington, you go Washington and give the examination. So examination structure is same for all the boards. When you clear the examination, you want license, then that is board review. And even if you think Alaska was not, maybe for sitting examination, Alaska was friendly. It gave you relaxation for credit hours. But for getting the license, it's not good. It's not that friendly for you. Then you can transfer your credit scores to different states as well. Maybe you think Washington was better. Transfer your for a nominal fee, $15-20. You transfer your passing scores from like grade scores from Alaska to Washington, and then apply for the license. So all that kind of flexibility is available. That's a good thing about CPUs. Let's go ahead now. Education requirement vary among the different states and US jurisdiction. General rule is 150 credit hours, within which 24 accounting and 24 business credits. Bachelor's degrees or higher. A few states will allow 120 credit hours or less to sit, like Guam, New Hampshire, Montana. So I told you, like 150 credit hours, it's something like a bachelor and and a 1 year more. or maybe 2 years more, like a 5 years after 12th, maybe. So if you are a BCom and if you have done a 2 years, maybe a distance education for MBA, that should suffice. But there is like there is a department, or there is a body which will evaluate, because you are in India. They would evaluate your education in terms of US. So in US there is a 4 years of bachelor's. So they would evaluate like whether you can sit it or not. So if you get a score of less than 150, then at least you have like few states where you can go and sit for the examination. And when you clear the examination, you think you want to go for license, then you can enroll for 1 year diploma course or 2 years diploma course from any of the accredited university here in India, a distance one. Give them, clear them, and get those great hours, and then you can apply for the examinations. Okay, let's go ahead with this. Okay, key organizations. Key organizations are AICPA, state boards, NASBA, and metric centers. AICPA is the accounting body in US, like ACAI, so it will develop all the accounting rules and even the examination structure. State boards are the one who give the license. NASBA is a bridge between different states. Like if you want to transfer schools from one state to another, then NASBA would help you. NASBA also helps you to get the requirements for license and other things as well. So it's quite flexible. Even if you don't find, if if in a state you want somebody a US CPA to certify your experience, if you're not able to find a US CPA in India, then you have to pay a fees. Somebody in Skype from US who's a CPA will just have a few questions on the experience and then certify it. So that flexibility is also available. Prometric centers are the computer-based centers across the US where you will go and sit for the examinations. So that's the body which takes care of those prometric centers. So I already told you, candidates would give the fees to NASBA. Then AICP is the one who looks into the examination and scores. Then state boards are the one who where you have to choose the state, which state you have to give the examinations. As I told you, flexibility is always there to change states later on. Then when you are ready for the examination, you have to give a fees, and then you get NTS. Then you have to like apply for prometric centers. And as I already told you, there is a flexibility. You can always enroll for the examination at your predetermined date. It's not that uh, like the body will tell you, like the accounting body will tell you, this is the date the CPS the examination is to do. So you can always do that. Okay. Now steps to becoming the US CPA: meet the education requirement, apply for the exam with state board, schedule the exam with prometric, pass examination, apply for license. So already went through this. So once you have that education requirement of at least 120 credit hours, then you can apply for any state. Then you can schedule the examination with prometric, pass the examination, and then you can apply for the CPA license. Okay, then let's go ahead with few questions. Can we do after MCOM correspondence? Yes, yes, yes. So if you are an MCOM, then you are more than eligible to, in fact, get to 150 credit hours, because you have already done BCom for 3 years. Then you did MCOM correspondence. That's fine, but it should be to a valid university. Then you should get a 150 credit hours. But the board, there's a body which will determine. But MCOM is more than, I think, sufficient to get those credit hours to apply for the license as well. Is this course going to be easy only after completing degree? No, 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 no. It's just about your aptitude. I recommend it. I recommend it. You have to give 3 months. Every day you have to study for 3 to 4 hours. Weekends you can study for 4 to 5 hours, and in 3 months you should be able to complete one subject thoroughly. And you cannot do it until unless you get some kind of a preparatory material and a guidance. So apply for Becker. That's the premium, I would say. If you go through Becker material, Becker videos, and Becker practice questions thrice, it should be sufficient in 3 months. Then your probability of passing the examination should be more than 90%. That's what I would say. What is the coaching cost? You need to get in touch with EduPristine on this. If I want to pursue my career in core taxation, then can the CPA US will be beneficial or kind of value addition for me? Yep. If it's especially if the taxation structure is relevant to US, then CPA US would be beneficial. And also like tax structure across the globe is somewhat similar, especially in the democratic world. It should not be uh, it should not be like too harsh on the public. Neither it should be like too relaxed that government is not able to get that kind of they cannot get that kind of funding or that kind of tax money. So it has to be a mixture of both. So if you see Indian there would be a lot of difference. But the core is like if India is giving relaxation in few areas, then they don't want that area to be penalized or overburdened. The same way in US, you will see the benefits. They don't want low income people or the industries which are suffering to get that to be overburdened with this tax structure. So essence is same. So you will get that kind of holistic view. And if you are going in a US based company, then they would definitely want, they would definitely prefer, I would say, a CPA US for taxation purposes. What is the total score of the papers? What is the minimum score? 75% is the minimum which is required. After COVID, will examination center would lift from India? That's a subjective question that the authority would take the decisions. But my personal belief is if everything goes right, and if they think that quality can be maintained in the prometric center in India, then as they have shifted to Dubai, maybe that's what my belief is. Maybe they can have one center in India for the subcontinent people, Bangladesh, others, Pakistan maybe would have restriction to fly. Nepal and other subcontinent can come in India and give the examination. Maybe India can become one of the centers. So that could be done, but it depends. See, if you go to US, you will see like what kind of a scrutiny is there before you give for the examination. See, the examination, the quality which is maintained by US, you will come to know when you go for the examination. Uh, they will check you thoroughly before you go for the examination. There's a fingerprints, I think scanner. You have to go through that. Then only you can give for the examination. Every time you take a break, come back again. There is a thorough checking before you sit for the examination. It's a quality difference which you will recognize, and they have to maintain it even if they have centers in India or Dubai. If they're able to maintain it, which I think they will be able to do it because CFAs that being administered from India. India have that kind of technology. India have those kind of quality people. India have those kind of controls, and everything is there present in India. It's just the matter of confidence. If they get that confidence, India could be one of the centers. Let us go ahead now. What are the career options? CPA certification. I already told you a lot of opportunities available, be it in any sector: financial analysis, regulatory reporting. Annual salary package for CPA: 5 to 8 lakhs for freshers for 1 to 2 years, 8 to 9 years, and above that it depends upon your competency. Common salary: 20 years experience CA. I cannot comment on CA. Sir, they are asking for professional experience. How will I get that after doing CPA? So there are a lot of boards which would want, which are very relaxed in experience. They will just require 1 year experience, even if it's in a public domain. Even if you are working as an accountant somewhere, you get it certified with the US CPA. That should be sufficient. So don't worry about that. But yeah, after you pass the examination, anyways, you will go in front of one of the financial industries or others. If you are just if you I believe you are a fresher. That's the way you are asking question. So after you get CPA, you will definitely get a job somewhere in the MNCs or somewhere in the financial industry. You get that experience certified with the US CPA. There are a lot of jurisdiction. You have to work on those jurisdiction. Maybe when you enroll with EduPristine, they will help you. Then you can do that. Is coaching compulsory? Yes. It's not compulsory, but taking the advantage, time and cost advantage, I would think it's beneficial to go for coaching because it will probability of pass. I shouldn't say that, but yes, you will get a better guidance because as CA, this course could be quite vast. You know where to focus on. So coaching would always help you to pass the examination. But if you have that kind of aptitude and time, then you can go without coaching. Do we need license for 1 year articleship, and is license compulsory? License is not compulsory. It's only compulsory when you go into public accounting domain as an auditor. How Hi, I did post-graduation finance working as app consultant. What is the scope for me if I do CPA certification having 8 years in IT background? People with CPA would help you to open doors into into like uh, uh, more specialized areas, more fintech areas, maybe maybe into more core financing domain. You are already a SAP consultant, so I believe SAP is a software which can be used for accounting, entries and other things as well. But I believe doing a CPA give you the recruiter would have more confidence to give you into core functional techno functional role or project management where like where if I talk about new regulations in financial world, maybe in IFRS 9 implementation, that could be core area where you need the financial knowledge as well. Even if you are from the IT industry, you can get into those core areas of IFRS 9 implementation, new regulatory changes, Basel 4 implementation or something like that. That will always be beneficial. You will always have a better upper hand as compared to other IT professionals. What if one wants to work in Canada? If you want to work in Canada, go for Canada CPA. If you're very sure you will get that everything. Sir, मेरा network okay. If I do BCom, MCom, I will get grades of 120. So what more can I do to get 150 through distance education? Okay. See, if you are BCom, MCom, I believe you can get up to 150 credit hours. In case you don't get it, do a 1 year course, distance course from IMT, a finance IMT. There is a 1 year course, and it's not that difficult to pass either. Or Symbiosis is 1 year courses post graduation. You just have to give the examinations. My personal take was I didn't study it even for a day or two. I just saw those books and gave the examination. I was able to pass this examination. So I'm not stringent. I should not comment like this, but yes, you can always go for 1 year and go for the examinations. I'm doing BCom. I don't have any plans to do MCom. Can I give CPA after CA final? No, I don't believe it will constitute 150 credit hours. But if you are a BCom and if you are a CA inter, can I give CP after CFN? Okay, after CFN, if you are a chartered accountant, you get some credits, but I cannot comment on how much are the credits right now. At my time, even if you're CA, you weren't getting any credit, to be very frank, but things have changed now. Okay, now let's go ahead to, we have already, it's a lot of time, but now let's become graduates, okay to set recent changes to the CPA exam requirement for GUAM. So GUAM is one of the board which is quite flexible. GUAM candidates that don't currently meet education requirement can sit for CPA exams, but are required to fulfill the examination within 18 months. So you have those flexibility. There are a few states. So total number of credit hours required for GBO will be increased to 150 credit hours. So right now it's 120, you can go 150. So better enroll as soon as possible. Okay. Now let's talk about the structure of the examination. There are 4 examinations. One is audit, one is BC, one is FAR, one is regulation. Okay. So there, one question would be why only 4 examinations are there? First of all, you need to see the structure the way the CPA is done. They're already asking for 150 credit hours. That means you have already done a master accounting qualification. So if you have done a master accounting qualification, then you don't require to do those inter. Okay, the way it's in here in India, you have to do C inters. You have to do so that they believe you have that kind of a competency. You just have to get into the master enrollment, which would be kind of a finance and sales. Then for CPAs, what they require is the CPA should be an or an audit expert, so they have an audit examination. They believe they should be accounting expert, they have an accounting examination. Tax expert, they added a tax return environment. There are other things. There's a lot of CPA goes into job or maybe their own work. Then they should know about the macro environment, how the industry works, what are the risks associated with the industry. They should know about the management accounting as well if they go into jobs which will help them to take management decisions or help management to take decisions. So that's the reason they added BEC, that is business environment concepts. That is more related to MBA subjects. More when you go into MBA, you get such subjects in detail. So they have added one more subject at BEC. So they have keep it simple and crisp. This is what required for CPA. You give the examination, you become a master in accounting or auditor. So that's about why there is a four examination theory. That's how CPA works. Now, if we go into audit, then content ethics, assess. So if you see remembering and understanding also, one of the areas where I see you don't have to mug up things a lot. You don't have to study for 7 8 hours just to mug up the articles and other things. That is that is not so much required in CPA. The CPA would have simple questions, objective questions. So you have to get into the concepts of the areas. If your concepts are good, then passing the probability would be very high. Instead of mugging up things which may not work in this environment, the way the environment is structured, because questions are quite you don't have to solve big equations, big problems. There would be small areas which would where they would ask you questions. So you have to have those your concepts ready. So always work on your concept for this examination rather than mugging up. Remembering and understanding is required. That's 30 40%, but that doesn't require of mugging up the articles and other things. Okay, so auditing is something like 70s, 72s are MCQs. That is, uh, and 8 are task-based simulation. Task-based simulations are like they will give you a task and then ask the questions on it. BEC, I talked about business environment concept. Same 62 MCQs for task-based, 3 written communication. So I told you like BEC is the one where you have to write things as well, just apart from like objective. FAR, which is financial accounting and reporting, here 10 to 20% is remembering and understanding, 50 to 60% is application, up to 35% is analysis, which is required, which is more like financial accounting. Regulation, 25 to 35 is remembering, understanding. Application and analysis can go up to 45 and 35, respectively. Exam timeline. So you will get if you get the NTS. So apply for NTS when you are sure that you are prepared for to give the examination. So once you apply for NTS, you get typically you get 6 months to book a seat in Prometric Center. So once you have your visa arranged, then only apply for NTS if you're not planning to give it in India. Then when you're thorough with these that you want to sit for examination because it will expire, then you have to repay for the NTS. And there's one like if you are able to pass one examination, then you have 18 months to pass another other 3 examinations. In case you are not able to pass in 18 months, then you have to again write the examination for the first examination. So it's a 18-month circle. So I think 12 months are more than sufficient to pass the examination if you cover it. But there is no like you can give examination as much as possible. At least like if you plan it, in 1 year you can give like 3 to 4 times the examination for it for one subject. Okay, going ahead. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Just if you want to do this examination, roll for it and go for it. That's what my suggestion is. Even I thought maybe I was already working at that time and I enrolled for CPA. Maybe I thought maybe I will give it after 1 year. Then one day I thought no, I have to give the examination. I enrolled it. Then even I already had the US visa, so for me visa was not an issue. So then one day I thought like maybe I'm not prepared for the examination. I will give it next year. Then I thought no, I have to give it this year as well. This year only. So I prepared for it, applied for the NTS and went ahead and gave the examination, passed the examination. So don't procrastinate it. Just like if you think this is the right time, go for it. But you mentally make yourself prepared for it. Now CPA examination rates, see almost like more than 50% of the people do pass for examination. So audit is 48, BC 58%, FAR 44%, regulation 4.23% people pass. This is quite high as compared to like if you compare it with Indian bodies, it goes like final maybe goes for 7 8%, 10%. So comparatively, it's quite high. And the reason I already told you, flexibility. And there was one survey where Indian student did better in FAR as compared to international student. So CPA is one thing. People from Korea are giving examination. People even from European countries, Germany, developed countries, people are giving CPA US examination. So they have a database. China and others countries, Hong Kong, other countries. So they have data for international students as well. So if we compare India with other international students, we did better in accounting, but we did not do better in like audit and regulations. So audit and regulation maybe we can put some extra efforts. Okay, testlets and breaks. So this is the way it would be. You have like you would have 4 hours to sit for the examination. After first MCQ, which is like in the Prometric Center, after first MCQ, you can take an optional break. Your clock will keep on running. So one optional break means that 4 hours, so they would be backward count, and if you take the examination, clock will keep on running. You take a break for 5 minutes, but clock will keep on running. There's like one standard break, which is after final TBS test list. There here the clock would stop. After that, like second and third TBS, it would be optional again optional. So this is the way it would be multi-stage testing. And believe me, the breaks do take a break, I would say. But the good part is now they have taken a mandatory break which will stop the clock. In my time, it wasn't the case, but still we used to take a break. Just take a glass of water and then come back, refresh yourself, energize yourself, then give the examination. Sample-based simulations are simple. Uh, you get a case study. You have to give the like it would be simple. These are simple like if they will give you the balance sheet P&L. Now they will say like how much the cost of goods be reduced. I'm giving you one simple example so that they can get a 10% net operating profit, something like that. So you have to do that calculations and do this. Is something like a simulation, document review simulation. So here you have a encyclopedia as well. So if you don't remember the sections, you can always go to this encyclopedia and try to search for the sections. If you're giving some kind of a law examination or taxation examination, tax would cover both law and tax. So if you don't remember section, you can always go there, but it's not that easy to search it. So you have to practice this, how to search those things. Document review simulation, same thing. They will give you a case study like operating income second hours, 4, 3, 4, 6. So there's a decrease in percentage, how much it would be. Simple. Document review simulation, research based simulation. So here they are asking for what I say is sections. So maybe these questions may be 3 or 4 questions. So you have to plan it statistically. That remembering a lot of sections will take me a lot of time, and it's not possible for me to remember it. Maybe in the examination date, if I'm able to recollect it or not. So you can skip it, try how to search it, and you can search it and then put the section. So in my time, I was able to search for one. I was not able to search for two, but I didn't remember any section to be very frank. Only a few important sections I remembered it because I'm not good at cramming things. So that's the reason. But I was able to do it. So it's like a time and benefit concept which you have to take into consideration. Like 2 or 3, you can skip it and try to search it, but it depends upon you. 2018 CPA exam user experience. ACPA will launch new user-friendly CPA, large HD monitor, large modern US user interface, Microsoft Excel, functionality, ability to cut, copy, paste. Excel is also coming, ability to highlight important information exhibits, updated authoritative literature search functionality. So these are the accounting body which keeps on working on enhancing the user experience. So when you go into Prometric centers now, you would have large HD instead of what we had was small. We didn't have Excel there. So if you are good in Excel, you are good in using Excel. Now you have Excel as well. Then other abilities, you can cut, copy, paste, which was not available at my time. So they are making it more user friendly and more delight for the users. So there are other ways as well. So when you enroll for Becker, you will get a software which will replicate the Prometric centers. You can practice it. So you can have like two sections in one screen. Like if I go here, like this way, you can cut, copy, paste the one of the important questions, whatever was question 1 and 2, and then you can see the objective answers, and then you can give the example. So this is more like your own, when you get that software, you have to work on it. How can you minimize time in answering the question? Because clock keeps on running. So you have to manage your time as well. Similarly here, if you go here, like you can keep the calculator here and do the calculation and then answer the questions instead of just in the same screen. You can work on this calculator. You can have cut, copy, paste of the questions. This is the way you can make it more effective. So you will get that software once you enroll with Becker. Similarly, here somebody has taken the section from the directory, and then here the questions are there. So in the same screen, you have a cut, copy, paste of the section, and here he is giving the answering the questions as well. Let's move ahead. Similarly, here like multiple sections is cut, copy, paste, and here like see, this is the way you have to do it. You get proficient only when you go and work in the software. So we can go ahead. So why Becker? Okay, so is CPA, let's go with a couple of questions. Is CPA USA recognized in Canada? They have a reciprocatory agreement. So yes, it is recognized. But if you want CPA US license, then maybe you just have to give one or maybe just a license fees. Which is the best coaching center in India? Go for Becker. I'm working with TCS in UK banking process for the past 2 years. This experience useful for licensing. Yeah, if it's an accounting or a financial based process, then that should be fine. Will understanding the Becker study material be difficult for students from India? No. Students from India very well. There's a high passing percentage of people from India. Maybe like if 100 goes for examination, almost like 70 to 60, 70% of the people do pass the examination. So it's not an issue with US, sorry, Indian students. The only thing is you have to give some time. What are papers? I already went through that. BEC for taxation and accounting, taxation, audit and BEC. SAR certificate भी मिलेगा क्या? I didn't get that. Sorry. Sir, class तब खत्म होगा? Okay. What is the UK parallel course of US CPA? UK parallel course is like there are accounting bodies in UK, so you have to see. I don't remember Wales and have their own accounting bodies and other things. But I would not say ACCA, but ACCA can also be like one of the counterparts for USCPA. But if you want licensing, then they have their own bodies. That's what I believe. But you can go. But maybe I will go for ACCA right now. Okay, then comprehensive exam focus. So another like we will take another. Another like we already passed time, so another 5 minutes and wrap up the course for today. Sorry. So comprehensive exam focus. Why you want to do Becker? Because it gives you the simulation, the way they give you the software. It replicates the same which is used in Prometric centers, and also if you see that over 90% of the Watt-cell. Okay, over 90% of the Watt-cell. The Watt-cell award is something like this is given for a person who gets 95% or above, something like a gold medal for each examination. Gold medal here in India. The 90% are more than from Becker. For past 5 decades, they have been pioneers. 5 decades, 50 years they have been into this. More than 2,000 organizations trust Becker, including the Big Fours. All top 100 live class and additional support through local partnerships. So if you go through EduPristine, they have their offline mode as well. Somebody from India, maybe a faculty from India who understands you better, you can always ask the question. That is also available if you go through EduPristine. But Becker is always recommendable. And EduPristine, if you go through EduPristine is their local partner. They also provide offline classes as well. If you're not able to understand any concept with the videos for CPA Becker, you always have those facility available in EduPristine. Then a complete CPA review focused on, so you have this kind of a software, textbook, everything is provided by Becker. And if you thoroughly go with the Becker material, more than 90% chances are you will be able to pass examination. Now the software is very much flexible. It helps you to strategize your examination. Then expert instructions like Peter Alento and others. These are like people who have their own CPA firms and have been into this education for more than, like, I don't know, maybe 4 decades, 5 decades. So they are the instructors available for Becker. Practice, practice, and practice. That's what I told you. If you practice the questions or the materials which are available in Becker, you do it for 3 times. It's more than like 90% probability you should pass the examinations. That is for sure. Mock examination. There are a lot of mock examination present in the Becker material. So interactive study planner. So it also helps you to strategize your plans for the examination. Okay. Now coming back to the same point, like maybe you get in market you have competitors who will maybe give you the materials or videos in a much lower cost, but you have to remember that if you need quality, then you have to pay the premium for it. And right now your focus should be the pass the examination to make yourself more competent rather than saving few bucks. That should be your aim. And just analyze how how pioneer Becker is, how long Becker has been into this this area of education of CPA, and also like we already saw the awards given to the people, even big fours. You do your research and you will come to know which one is better. So I would believe, even if you have to spend few bucks, always go for quality, which is very important right now in your career. Okay, guys. Now, so if you have any additional questions, work with the best. Absolutely, EduPristine and Becker. So because EduPristine gives you flexibility for offline classes, they are the partner with Becker here. It's always preferable to go with such partners. So if you have additional questions, you can always visit the sites www.edupristine.com, and also you can email to care@edupristine.com. Okay, we are already 8 minutes ahead of the schedule. So before I wrap up for the day, I would just leave at a note like if you are serious with CPA, you only enroll when you are serious with CPA first of all. And CPA would require regular studies, even if you give 1 or 2 hours, but give at least every day. You need to give have a timeline to study. Regular study is always advantages, and then and believe me, 90% of the people are working professionals, so it is quite feasible to pass the examination. I was a working professional, there are 90% who are already working. So I believe you don't have to quit your if you want to give this examination, don't quit your work. It is quite manageable. Give 2 to 3 hours daily. Weekends give 4 to 5 hours daily, but your mental aptitude should be as such. Because there's so much of flexibility, your probability of passing the examination is quite high. Go with the Becker. They are the pioneers. There's if you're able to and if you're able to thoroughly revise, give all the mock examination tries, then you can register for the course. So that flexibility is also available. So I would say just enroll for the CPA if you're mentally, if you're prepared for it. Apart from that, I just wanted to say, like, as there are a lot of MNCs coming in India and globalization, even in current environment, even if it's a corona, even if you see, if you think that after corona there wouldn't be any globalization, you cannot survive without globalization. Economy says, or economics says, globalization is the need of our. If you close your doors, any country closing its door would only go backward. That's what I believe. Globalization is the way. Now, if a lot of MNCs, European banks, American banks, and other African banks, South African banks, or New Zealand, Australian banks, setting up their centers in India, then they need somebody with a global accounting qualification. And if you are a CPA, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't degrade any of the qualification. They are equally competent. These days, just about competencies. But if you are a US CPA, they get that confidence that yes, he has that kind of a credential, which is widely accepted across the globe. We can always ask him ask him or give him a call to come and give the interview for the positions. So that kind of a confidence, the US CPA or if you're a CPA would give to the recruiters as well, because they don't know about the local education as much, but they are aware of the global education. as the case it with CFA, maybe if you are an investment banking, if you want an investment banker, you come here, then CFA maybe is a course which has established for the last 50 years. They will look for somebody, but for CFA, we give them that kind of a confidence. Oh, he's a CFA. At least we can call him for it. Same for CPA, very widely recognized. And if you also want opportunities abroad, if you have those kinds of connect, then CPA will always help you to achieve your goals. Okay, then I don't see any other questions. We are already like 11 minutes late. I thank you all for your time and best of luck for your career ahead. Thank you. Bye.